That alpha dom dating guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
Hi, my name is Kat Black and I make content about BDSM and other topics on my YouTube channel. And I also host a BDSM munch, and I have unfortunately ran into a lot of men like this.
Here's an example. I was talking to a girl and she said, oh, I'm not really interested. And I, instead of just going, okay, and then just turning away, I did this. Why would you not be interested in me? I'm the best. Absolutely the best.
Something that was explained to me very recently by a dom who I actually admire and am very attracted to and interested in is that at a certain point, when you're a good dom, you don't have to pursue people. You don't have to go and, go through this whole, song and dance about how you're Mr. Dommy McDomerson and you're the best in the scene about, people just know that about you. And when I think of the doms who I have stood around and admired and desired connection with and desired having something with, these are people who I've heard from other people are really, really good at what they do.
And she's like, oh, how? I'm like, well, you'd have to come over in my house to find out.
I need to know you before I know that I can trust you. I'm not just being submissive because it's something that I enjoy doing, right? For me, submission comes from admiration and trust. I'm not going to be able to admire or trust you when you're a stranger I've just met. It's just not going to happen. I don't doubt that Alpha Dom dating coach has some degree of success with women. I definitely do doubt it, but I'm sure that it works sometimes. And it's one of those things where it's worked a couple of times. And so therefore he sees it as, gospel. But ultimately, and I don't know how old he is, but I'm going to assume that I'm probably older than him. Ultimately, the dominants who do well in the scene are not due to move like this.
And you'd also have to be okay with kink, and you'd also have to be okay with my mastery of the ropes and the fact I have multiple women. And actually, maybe not.
Most submissive women want to feel safe. They want to feel understood. They want to feel heard. They want to feel respected. There are a handful of men who I have said no to because I didn't yet know them or trust them yet, who in years to come, I did eventually play with and had a great time. Right? One of the dominants who I've recently started bottoming with was one of these people who I would always say no to, and I got to know socially. And now we have great little scenes together, right? That's how it goes a lot of the times. And just because a girl changes her mind doesn't mean that you've done some crazy Jedi mind trick to encourage her to switch her feelings. A lot of times it's quite literally just, I don't know you yet, so no, I'm not going to go back to your house and do BDSM with you. It's a very normal thing. There's really no reason to trust most male doms. It's very smart for you to, when you meet a dom, not rush into things with them. Power exchange is very intense. Too many of these dudes out here are leeches. They're leeches, especially some of these specific dudes. They're out there trying to be around your feminine energy to cultivate it and take it to just, to validate themselves. They're not actually interested in having a dynamic with you. They will say all of the things that make it seem that way, but they're not actually interested in having a dynamic with you.
She started going back and forth with me, and I started building attraction in that because now I had sidestepped her fucking rejection. Granted, keep in mind, I didn't force it. I didn't say, no, you're gonna... I just played into her little fucking game. I knew she was playing with me a little bit, or just kind of disengaging, and I gave her a little bit of fun.
And the unfortunate thing that I've seen happen all too often is men like this will advise other young men to do these things. And those young men will go out and make a fool of themselves. They will step on toes, they'll hurt feelings, they will do things like, I'm not gonna accept your no, and then fuck it up. I've had to remove so many men from my events and from my spaces who I could tell were just young dudes who didn't quite get it yet, who came into the community assuming that because these women are into BDSM, they're gonna be more open to doing this and open to doing that. They're going to be, more open to hearing disrespect or disrespectful things than your average woman would be outside of this, which is absolutely not the case. But a lot of people don't get, and I know that this is where people debate about this, is, being a dom, right? It's usually not something you can just say yourself, right? There's saying that you want to be a dom, and then there's someone actually having a power exchange relationship with you where you are their dom. And a lot of times, if you're a good dom, you will become known for being a good dom. And I also just want to say to young men specifically, you don't need to do this. You can be honest about, I don't really know how to do this. I don't really know how to do that. In my observation, the best doms are constantly learning new things. The worst doms are, oh, I'm the best at this. I have nothing to learn, right? Pay attention.